was teaching there. I know those days, I don't know right now, those days, University of Manitoba is the Harvard of Manitoba. All the best students used to go there, including the Shirley Mills sitting there. So it was a delight teaching these kids, so enthusiastic and wanted to do something. Then I left 73, came to Ottawa, joined Calgary University. And David had gone earlier to 73 or to University of Waterloo. Then he asked me if he could do PhD by commuting. So that is what my connection is. And actually I should say my second student is Dan Kruski, who is a big shot in Ottawa U. So two, jackpot there, two great students coming there. Okay, first I'll go through a little bit about David. He's a professor emeritus. He just retired in 2016 from University of Western Ontario. I hear it's called Western University now?
I don't call it Western.
Okay, because the chief statistician said Western University. All right. He has many honors, for good reason. He is the ASA Fellow, honorary member of the SSC this year, SSC Service Award, and he is recognized as the best teacher by the University of Western Ontario for excellence in teaching. He got the gold medal. I knew that you will see from his lecture how lucid he is. And he's all, he doesn't keep quiet. He's also involved in many other activities. He's the SSC president. He was the president of the Survey Research Method section. And editorial work, associate editor of JASA, Canadian Journal of Statistics, Survey Methodology, Computer Science and Data Analysis, and some more, I assume. I just picked whatever I could get it, okay? These are not in the chief statisticians thing there, okay? And he served 6 years as a member of the NSER Grants Committee, and including chair in 1991. He likes to do chairships quite often, in contrary to my desires. Also, he was in the Stats Canada Advisory Committee on the Statistical Methods for 6 years, and I had the pleasure of interacting with him during those years, and very interesting stuff on seasonal adjustment and standard errors and all that. He's also served on the U.S. National Academy of Science Committee on what, I don't know which committee. And what is remarkable, he has 45 MSc projects or theses during his career. That's quite remarkable. And he's highly sought after as a consultant. Now, he doesn't do, for money's sake. Okay? Law firms on arbitration cases, pay equity, lottery fraud, medical malpractice, so he's a real social worker. And he's also got interest in archaeology, so he develops ingenious sampling methods for archaeology. I think published some papers, also I remember he's sending me some papers. His research interests are quite varied. For his thesis, he did what you call the random permutation models, which is interesting. You heard of the superpopulation models, which is a hypothetical population, whereas the random population is the given finite population. So you develop a theory, we see what's going on. And that he published several papers on that. He also did excellent work in systematic sampling. I wrote one paper with him. And a very nice paper in JASA on a unified approach to randomized response. I like that paper very much. He also got involved in analysis of survey data, including semi-parametric regression models, density estimation. And I also wrote a paper with him on estimating domain means. Now, what is interesting is, I used to teach this in my class, how to draw samples. Suppose you want to draw a simple random sample, there are more than one way of doing it. Many sampling schemes to implement a sample design. So he developed a very ingenious method where you don't even need to know the population size. And what is interesting is, it's got a tremendous potential now for drawing samples from non-probability samples, like social media data. Because you don't know and the campaign is changing continuously. So this, I expect some of the ideas of David could be potentially useful. He also had a lot of interest in computing those days. I never was very good at it, but I could talk to him, and he developed some very unified approach to doing variance estimation for multi-stage sampling in one pass. And I think he published it somewhere. And he also did extensive collaborative research with Charmaine Dean. Charmaine is now the Vice President of Research in the University of Waterloo, on drug failure analysis and transplant registry data, spatio-temporal modeling for people-caused fire occurrences, which is a serious thing in the Western Canada. Now, I come to the final thing. I think he is the world leader in history of statistics. The history is one of those things. Unfortunately, we don't teach them to students. You ask some student, who is R.A. Fisher? I heard about some guy, This is sad. We need a serious course in history. And David had that interest. And also, history is one of those things, you don't become a great historian by working hard. You have to have it in you, genes. And David has it there. He wrote a beautiful paper on history of SSE, Statistical Society of Canada. And one interesting paper for current atmosphere, history of survey sampling, evolution of survey sampling, relation to computer technology. Wayne Fuller, my good friend, likes it. In fact, we're mentioning it in one of our papers coming along. And he has written 2 books on history of statistics and mathematics. And not only that, when he goes somewhere, he goes into the archives, picks up something, next thing you see is a paper. I think one paper on bellhouses, right? Did these guys hire you? Were they ancestral trees guys? No?
Nobody hired me. I did that one myself.
So, it's a real pleasure that David agreed to do this very useful thing, and it's a very stressful thing, but he's 150 years or more of data analysis in Canada. And so the abstract says, learn about the past and future of data analysis and the statistics in Canada. Topics include the Victorian statistics movement and its effect in Canada, statistics and the computer revolution, and the last, the emergence of data science. I want to know what is data science. David might tell us. David.